Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Today, your townsfolk who are exploring a dungeon after a group of adventurers has dispatched all of the monsters. Luckily for you, the adventurers left some treasure and equipment behind, but now you just need to find a way to split it all up. Today, we're taking a look at Loot Dispute. It's for 2 to 4 players, it takes 30 minutes to play, is for ages 14 and up, and published by Gold Seal Games. Now it's on Kickstarter right now, so I'm going to show you how the game works, and I'll see you on the other side. This is a Kickstarter preview, so all the art and components you see here are not final, they're prototype. To see all the most up-to-date art and components, check the link in the description of this video. At the beginning of the game, each player will select which character they'd like to be. The game is played over 5 rounds, and each round you're going to be going into a new dungeon with lots of treasures that adventurers have left for you, and you guys need to split it up. Now each of the rounds will have a different layout, I'll go over that later, and one of the cards is actually face down. All the rest of them are different types of treasure, and these treasures have different colors, denoting what set they're from, also denoted by the icon here. For example, the red always has that there, and different values of these cards. And so you're going to be trying to do some set collection, but also trying to get the treasure that you like. So, on your turn, what you're going to do is take your character and you're going to split one of these groups in this dungeon into 2 groups. This, at the beginning, is all just one large group. Now, when splitting it up, you have to split up any single group into 2 groups. And since this is one large group, and you split them on like a straight line. For example, you can see this imaginary line going through these cards. I could split this up and say everything to the left is one group, everything to the right is one group. Or maybe I want to split it right here and say everything above this is one group, everything below this is one group. Or maybe I just want to not be like too crazy and just split off maybe, just this bottom one. So it's totally up to you. But what you do, well, it's going to change the strategy of what the others do. So let's do a little split here. So I've split this into 2 groups and I placed my character on any one of the cards in this group. It doesn't matter which one, he's taking claim to all this. Then the next player will go. So when the next player goes, they could take this big single group and split it into 2 groups, kicking this red player off and going in one of those groups. Or they could just go on a group that nobody's on, like this one, and they don't have to split it because this is all just one big group. So let's say the next player goes and they want some of this treasure here. So let's say they split this, again, always splitting in one big line like this. They could have gone this way, maybe they would have went this way. And again, it's gonna bump this one off and they're gonna be able to select one of these groups to go to. And let's say they select that. And now let's say blue wants to come. Again, they could split maybe this group into 2 and take it and bump green off, or split this big group into 2 and bump yellow off. But maybe they just want to say, you know what? I like this group right here. I'll just go on any one of those cards. Now it comes back to yellow's turn. Guess what? If it's the beginning of your turn and you're still on a group, you get to collect this entire group. And now when you collect them, you put them in front of you with the other ones that you had. Now each player starts, these are the starting treasure cards, starts with 3 treasure cards. And so these ones were already here. So we added the ones that I took, and you want to keep them in light columns because we just collected this one, this one, this one, and this one. So these 2, we already had that color. So we sort of just slot them like that. Now additionally, as you're collecting treasures, you'll get to choose from one of the available merchants that are here. Now there's always like one more than the number of players, so there's 5 here. But being able to take the treasure first, well, allows you to get a merchant here. Now there's different types and they do different things. For example, this one is going to give you the sum of sizes of the points at the end of the game. Now when you take one of these ones that are sort of portrait like this, these merchants. So let's say I took this one. Now you can add it to any column that you have a color on. And let's just say I did it for red. Now here it's the sum of sizes. So at the end of the game, I'm going to get points equal to this. Right now we're at 2 plus 2, we're at 4. So I'm going to sort of be concentrating on filling in a bunch of reds, hopefully the higher values, because I have that specific card over this one. So it's going to give you some set collection, some strategy throughout the rest of the game. Or maybe I take this one that tells me the number of items that I'll get in a certain color. So it doesn't have to do with the number of the value of those. It's just the number of cards of that set. Or maybe different sizes. So for example, if I had a size that had 2 items of different sizes, or all 3 items of different sizes of size 1, 2, and 3, I'll get 9 for each set. Now again, for these ones, you always tie them exactly to one color that you've collected that round, and each color can only be assigned with one of these. Now in the future, if you assign like say one of these to a color, and later on you have found a better one, you can replace the one that you had already placed in that color, but that means you're going to have less merchants to score because there's only 5 rounds. Now you'll find some that have certain aspects of cards about them. Now let's talk about these ones. Say I got this one and I decided to assign it to red. Now what this says is it's gonna go with pairs with the color that it's assigned to and what this one is. So every pair of red matched up with another one of these, like this, is gonna give me 3. So I have one here and one here. Those together get me 3. I have one here, I don't have one here, so I don't get the actual 3 points for that. But later on, I get another one of these. Well, now I have 2 pairs of which one this is about, which is red, and the ones it's talking about. So here I have 2 pairs of 3, so that's worth 6. Now, all these merchants that are portrait style, they always get assigned to one of those colors that you've taken this round. But there are some ones that are in landscape mode here, and these are patrons. They're not tied to a specific color. They do different things. Like this one will get you 6 coins for a set of one of each of the different colors of goods. So there you want to do sort of a variety. So what's going to happen is players will continue going until it's their turn. And again, once it's their turn, if they're there, they'll collect the treasures and then take one of those merchant cards. And again, remember, one of these is face down that you don't know what it is at the beginning of the round. Once all the players have done that, you would discard any remaining treasures, you discard any remaining merchants, and you would start a new round. This is 5 dungeons long. Now, each of the dungeons are set up differently. For example, for the 5 rounds, depending on the player count, it'll have different types of dungeons. For example, we just played a 4-player game, the first dungeon, the first round of that game. So we did a C. This is a C card, and as you can see, this is exactly how I laid out that dungeon, and the red one is the face down one. But guess what? This is double-sided, and there's multiple C cards. So you can see that what you'll do is you'll take each type of card out, you'll shuffle them, so there'll be 1 C, there'll be 2 Ds, and 2 Es. And again, there's plenty of different dungeon types and looks, and it's just gonna give you a different flavor and feel as to how things will be split up over the course of the game. So each of the dungeons will feel a little bit different, and it gives the game a lot of replayability there. That's pretty much how you play around. At the end of the 5th dungeon, you're going to then look at all your cards, all your treasures, look at your merchants and your patrons, add up all the points, see who has the most gold to win. Now let's take a look at what some of the other merchants do. A lot of them are sort of similar to each other, but do different things with different types. For example, these are the ones that not only pair with the set that you collected and assigned it to that round, but also will give you points for pairs of the specific one on this card. So these are kind of cool because they allow you to get pairs of 2 different types of sets, the one that you assign it to and the one that's on the card. Now these ones are different ones depending on the different types of cards you get, like 2, 3, or 4 items of the same size of that color, because you're going to be assigning these to one specific color when you get it and giving you different amount of points there. 2 or 3 items of different sizes, 2 or 3, 4 items of the same size is sort of the same one as here. And there's other patron types like this that says, hey, how many size 1 items do you have? It doesn't matter because these ones aren't tied to a specific color. You'll get 2 for each of those, so that'll give you a different strategy as well. And again, whoever has the most coins at the end of the game is the winner. Well, there you have Loot Dispute, and as I showed in the overview, you'll be splitting up loot and hoping to keep your share, and gaining merchants to help you score sets of loot. Now, if you'd like to see the most up-to-date art and components and all the different pledge levels available, you can click the link below me in the description of this video. Now, that's going to take you directly to the Kickstarter project page, and I'm sure that Gold Seal Games would love your support.